Hello.
Hello.
How's it going, karate people?
Welcome to another episode of Hombu Dojo podcast.
Welcome.
This is Rue speaking.
Us.
With me.
Yeah, I know. This is Rue.
Speaking with me, Ross. Hold on a second.
Just loading up. Oh, yours didn't make a nice
Didn't
sound.
make a nice noise now. Got to have the podcast beer.
Gotta get strapped in, you know, folks.
Ugh.
Can't expect us to do this sober. Traditional martial arts. Okay, so today we've got our talking points all sorted out. So we don't have a special guest with us today.
Unlike you lucky devils with the last few episodes.
So we're just going to talk about our opinions about stuff, basically. Again,
Yeah.
as per usual.
So we just had a nice retraining session, as we do every Friday, with Young Tag, where we just put on the gloves, the big gloves, the boxing gloves. I hear all the traditional karate people gasping already. So we put on the big boxing gloves, and we have a wee knock at the pads and a bit of sparring, a bit of heavy contact, mouth guards in, no holds barred sparring.
Clips of which will soon appear on the HDKI Instagram account. HDKI Karate. Look us up.
Yeah, follow us on Instagram. We've got a Facebook page as well. Please check it out.
But we decided to talk about cross-training with other martial arts.
Yeah.
Because what we were doing up there, you could consider it kind of a heavy form of karate.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you know, maybe some people call that Kyokushin, but then again, in Kyokushin, you're not allowed punch to the face. And you could call it kickboxing, but we were throwing some knees, some elbows. You could call it Muay Thai, but it just wasn't Muay Thai.
I mean, it's just a...
What were we doing?
I think we were, because the three of us do karate, I think it was karate.
Yeah.
But without that sort of strict kihon, strict point scoring form, I think it was just a bit more like a free form of karate. You know, it's kind of like you would do it your grading committee karate, where it's not about being pretty and clean. Like, you want your techniques to be as clean as possible, but if somebody's in really close, you're not worried about throwing straight punches. You're not worried about how pretty your punches look. You're not worried so much about the distance. You're just trying to crack them, you know?
It felt a lot like the dojo kumite we do in the mornings, except being padded up, you know, having the gloves on, the mouth guard in, the shin pads on. It was a bit easier to be relaxed.
Yeah, because, I mean, not only are you not worried so much about getting a smack, you're also less worried about control, in the sense that you know that if you just, you know, let your technique fly a little bit, you know, it's cushioned. You're not in danger of cutting anyone open, bursting anyone's face open or anything like that, which tends to happen when you're going bare knuckle and bare foot and shin like we do in the mornings, you know. You have to really be wary of your control, because it's so easy to do damage to someone without any protective gear on, especially like without mouth guards. I remember one time sparring without mouth guard, like all my, I mean, Rue can testify to this now, my front teeth are all chipped from, you know, just from people, like just from banging into people, not necessarily getting a hit, but just, you know, somebody's shoulder catching my jaw or something when we're getting too close, and my teeth rattle together and bits of your teeth go flying, you know.
You know, I heard this TED talk just the other day by a former WWE guy, you know, a pro wrestler. And
can you name the wrestler? This is a test of how cool Rue was back at school.
No, I can't remember his first name, but he went before he was a pro wrestler. He had been to Harvard University, college, whatever they call it. He'd been to Harvard, so his nickname as a wrestler was like Johnny Harvard or
the
Joe
Harvard man.
His angle was that he was privileged and a bit posh. So he was the poshest WWE pro wrestler. Anyway, he had a TED talk all about the dangers of concussions. And apparently, you know, it's a lot. Getting hit in the head, like, people don't exactly take it lightly. But it's a lot more serious than you think. And anybody doing contact sports should be a lot more careful about it than the culture currently is. They examined the brains of, I think, 400 NFL players, and something like 90% of them had this disease, which has only recently been discovered, which is a result of suffering several concussions throughout your life. And it's a degenerative disease. It leads to dementia, leads to all kinds of awful stuff.
It's in that Will Smith movie, Concussion, yeah?
I haven't seen it.
You know, I've seen it. It's about the doctor who discovered it, and the NFL tried to cover it up for a long time.
Ooh.
So they've known about that for a very long time. It's not a recent discovery. It's only recently been outed.
It's a conspiracy.
But they've been doing it. It's been for a long time, and it's NFL is probably the worst one because the argument is, they're padded up, they wear the helmets and stuff like that, but it doesn't do anything to protect the brain whatsoever, because it doesn't matter like how much padding you put in your head, your brain's still rattling about in there, and that's.
So if you're doing
close to
contact
nothing.
sports, folks, if you're kickboxing or practicing some Muay Thai, be careful. If you get concussed, take it seriously.
I love that the Instagram of the Mick Dojos, and it shows you these like it is Mick Dojos, or like these very unprofessional gyms where they have people standing still, getting used to taking punches in the face, and it's like that's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
that's just the worst thing you could do.
Not a good idea.
But so that's maybe one of the drawbacks for us very good controlled karate guys doing heavy contact martial arts, is that we don't want to start getting rattled in the head every day, That isn't good for you.
So what martial arts have you tried, Ross Sensei, apart from Shotokan Karate Do?
I've done a bit of everything. I've done jiu-jitsu, I've done Muay Thai, I've done boxing, I've done like a crossbreed, like I've done MMA back in Scotland. I've tried just a bit of anything, except with the ones I haven't done. Like I haven't done any Taekwondo. It's probably the only one, but I think I've had a good mix to the point where certain things when we do like applications in CAD and stuff like that, I can definitely see what things work and what things wouldn't work in terms of grappling and stuff, because it's not something we practice a lot in Shotokan. So having that nice jiu-jitsu background, that MMA background, I've done some Olympic style wrestling as well, which is by far the top. Like I tried that up in Blanchardstown actually with Ignis, and that the warm up nearly killed me, man.
Ignis is a purple belt student of the dojo. Brown belt student of the dojo. Fantastic guy.
Yeah, lovely guy.
Yeah.
But we went up and tried that up near his place, and that was super tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think the grappling stuff, definitely like something that I would recommend everyone to try at least try and get some knowledge in grappling, especially if you're into your applications, if you're into doing bunkai of karate, because it is all in there. There is a lot of that stuff which has been forgotten, and I think that if you know your stuff, you'll find a lot of fun and interesting ways to apply certain kata techniques into close quarter fighting.
So besides an insight into bunkai, what else has your cross training brought to your karate?
I think a better understanding of things like distance in terms of what can work and what can't work. Like one of the best things about karate is that we fight at a very long range, like especially in Shotokan. I think Simon Bly Sensei once told me we take the range from kendo, that sort of sword fighting range. We fight at that same range that they use in kendo over in Japan. That's where our competition range comes from. That's why we're so far apart. And as a result of that, karate people tend to be really good at covering distance really fast. They're very explosive when they're going forward, blitzing forward in straight lines. Very good. But I think that the drawback is that when it gets in really close, people don't really know what to do when they're in those close quarter things. And even in the sport and karate world, where some of the best karate fighters are, they tend to stand chest to chest, and they can throw. They have some lovely throws, like Rafael Agiev has some excellent judo, and he has an excellent judo background, so you can apply that, some of the takedowns and stuff in that sport karate element. But you're not allowed to really strike in that close distance because it turns into hooks and uppercuts and things like that, and elbows and knees and that stuff that's not allowed in competition. So that doesn't really get practiced a lot across the board. It's all tends to be related around that sort of point scoring karate. And I think that doing stuff like Muay Thai, where you clinch all the time, doing things like boxing where you're working on the inside, almost forehead to people's chests, hooks and uppercuts in close, I think that's really valuable in terms of how to be able to fight at multiple distances rather than just that set Shotokan competition style distance.
I see. I was hoping you were just going to mention your Chudan Mawashigiri.
My Chudan Mawashigiri.
Yeah.
Well, that comes from hitting pads a lot.
Oh yeah.
And that's one other thing that I think cross training gives you, is that in karate we do a lot of Kihon training, we do a lot of partner training in terms of our Gohon Kumite or Ju Ippon, Kihon Ippon, or Ju Kumite, but we don't really hit pads a lot as much as other martial arts. Like Muay Thai, as soon as you go into a Muay Thai class, the first thing you're going to do is, okay, pair up, one person get the pads on, the other one get the gloves on, and away you go. And you just do that for like maybe even an hour of just pad work, where you're just doing a round on, round off, back and forth. And it's just you'll just do a combination for a round and then change, another combination for a round and change.
I did Muay Thai for about 3 months when I was living down in Cork, and that's literally all I got to do.
Yeah.
Pad work.
Yeah.
Just day after day, week after week, I was just hitting pads, and I thought there's something to be said about that, walking into a place and just learning how to hit hard. Or, well, I suppose in that particular club, it didn't get a lot. It was a big club. There were lots of people there, guys getting ready for competitions all the time. I hardly got a look in, didn't really get much instruction. But after a few weeks, I was certainly hitting the pads harder than I was when I first started. So that's something, I suppose. And pad work. I think our dojo probably does a bit more pad work than most.
I definitely, when I'm teaching, I definitely try and put pad work in there, but I could go like a month and just talk about technique, talk about what we're doing in kata and kion and stuff, and you never really apply it to pad until one day you're like, these like the class isn't getting it, I'll help them get the pads out, and then even then it's not like you won't do a class of just hitting pads. You'll do a technique that you're working on, and then you'll say, okay, do this while you're hitting this pad, and try and see what you're being taught, like see how it works. Whether like we do a lot of like practice on driving off the back leg when we punch yakizuki or oizuki or kazamizuki, like we do a lot of back leg drive, and whenever we're talking about back leg drive, it helps a lot when we get like a focus pad out, one person holds the focus pad on their chest or on their stomach, and the other person tries to drive and hit that pad hard. But even then you're not doing like combination work.
That's it. We're just focusing on one technique at a time. You're not throwing out combos, like switching combos. Because that's the way we train here. We focus on a principle, right? We come up with an exercise that focuses on one of the principles that yourself or Scott Sensei is trying to teach, and then we isolate that and use the pads to hone in on that. Whereas traditional pad work, at least as it exists in boxing, Muay Thai, Kyokushin, I suppose, just like knocking out combos on the pads and getting the sweat up and getting strong.
I mean, that's it. And I think that, like you were talking about Chiramawashi, I think one of the things when I came over here the first time in competitions and stuff, like it'd been I think a year since I'd competed in karate competitions when I first came here. I remember the first competition back, every fight this Chudan Moash was catching everyone, because that was the one, like every combination we finished every combination in the MMA class I was doing before I moved here with that Chudan Moash. Like it was always, whatever 5-punch combination, elbows, knees, whatever it was, and then as the pad holder takes a step out, you boom, Chudan Moash and then reset. And that was like your go-to finishing move.
Universal finisher to every combo.
It just became habitual for me, and it's something that I could throw it, and like my shins and everything were conditioned to hitting, because I was hitting with shins instead of insteps. So when I was throwing, I was going through people's blocks really easily. Like they couldn't really stop it, and the foot was sneaking right round to the back really nicely, and that it was working for me in terms of the competition style of doing things. That works for me when we're sparring and stuff. Another thing is we jabbed all the time, like lots of just like fast-paced jabs. I think now my Kazamizuki is really fast, and it tends to work all the time. Like
I was talking to my so this morning I was practicing some kickboxing with my brother, who's been kickboxing for I think nearly a year now, and he came into the dojo to show me some stuff, and we were just he asked me what my goals were when it comes to sparring, and I said I just want to be able to stand in front of a person and know I can handle it, know that whatever's coming I won't flinch as much as I do now. And I was thinking about you and the way I can come in with a flurry, and I'm gonna alright, I'm gonna go fast, I'm gonna throw 5 punches, here I come, and Ross just goes, oh, here comes Ryu, step back, Kizami, got it. And that's cool, man. The Kizami, you look cool doing a Kizami.
Well, it's developing that like relaxation, in sparring, and I think that it can be difficult, because I think the biggest drawback when I started training and when I started sparring with Muay Thai guys in that gym were so used to the karate style, and some dojos might try their best, especially traditional karate guys try their best to get out of the competition way of doing things, but it tends to be so ingrained, especially over here in the West. I think that every famous karate instructor over here was famous for competitions more than anything else. I don't think there was any like like especially well, certainly in the UK and Ireland, I think
Yeah.
the guys like Frank Brennan, Terry O'Neill, even Aidan Trimble, guys like that who are fantastic, but at the same time
They're big champions.
They're champions.
Yeah.
That's it. And I think that with that top down sort of way that karate is, everyone has sort of been in awe of their competition prowess and tried to recreate that in their dojo. So when it comes to sparring, when it comes to teaching kids how to spar, when they're practicing themselves, it does tend to be that point, get that point in. And what I found was when I was hitting these Muay Thai guys, and I was very fast, kick one of them in the face, I would switch off for a second, just habitually, because you're used to hearing the yami.
Yeah.
And you hear that
Yeah.
yami, and then they're coming, and they don't care because they don't stop. They don't acknowledge that they've been hit in the head,
Yeah.
because they're trained to just, if they get hit in the head, unless it knocks you out, you keep going.
Yeah.
So, so they would come in with like another 6-move combination. I'd be in a corner crying, going, "No, let me out! Yummy, someone's a yummy! I should be getting points."
I scored a point.
And it was a difficult thing to get out of your system, because it was something that, and also, I think point fighting and non-full contact.
Just something about that though.
Yeah.
Hold that thought,
Go.
because I have some brown belts in one of my Tuesday classes, and I was doing a kumite drill. I stole it from you. I was doing a bunch of the ones that I'd stole from one of your previous competition classes, just because I thought they'd enjoy moving around a bit and trying a few drills. And they tended to finish the drill and then look at the ground, sort of stand up, shuffle back to where they were in the first place, and then start again. And I tried to tell them about Zanshin, but I don't even understand Zanshin, so I couldn't really explain it properly to them. So I just said, stay switched on for feck's sake. Don't, when it's over, that doesn't mean you can just stand up and walk around. Stay, if you're moving back to the position, do it as if you're still fighting, move back, push off the front leg, stay in it. It's not over.
Yeah.
It's not over just because you finished the combo.
Guy, I seen a great clip. There's a big fights on tomorrow night, and one of the guys fighting, it's the UFC, Robert Whittaker, who comes from a Shotokan karate background, from Australia, but it was a great thing. He was on the Ultimate Fighter show, and he was coaching this past season, and he was talking to the guys as they were doing some pad drills and stuff, and said the drill that we're doing isn't finished until you're out in the safe zone.
Yeah.
You're not finished until you're back out
Yeah.
and done, like you're in a safe place,
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's really good to get kids in the habit of, is that just because you've hit someone, just because you've done what you've been asked to do, doesn't mean you're finished. You have to be able to stay back, get into that sort of distance where nobody can reach you, and then you can relax and
I
reset.
think every combo should probably end with creating distance again, right? Shuffling back. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But speaking of pad work, right?
Yeah.
We do have a Kyokushin Yondan coming to our dojo soon.
Yeah, so speaking of pad work and the fact that we don't do enough of it, one of Scott Sensei's many karate friends, one of them is Kyokushin Yondan, and he's going to come in and do some pad work with us.
I'm really looking forward to that, because I read that book recently by Nicholas Petas, The Blue-Eyed Samurai, about a Danish guy who goes to Tokyo for 3 years. He was Masoyama's last uchideshi. One of the first guys to do the 100-man kumite, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
And, he's a bit of a legend anyway, at least since I read that book. He's also been a K1 champion.
Yeah.
Really, really impressive dude. But ever since I read that book, I've been kind of obsessed with Kyokushin and just how hard these guys are. So I'm super looking forward to this pad work session.
Yeah, that should be good fun. I think I'm interested because I've done a lot of pad work back in the day. I'm interested to see because one thing I've never done, I've never trained with Kyokushin guys, and I'm interested to see if there's any differences in how they train, how they move, how they throw techniques compared to the likes of the Muay Thai guys or the boxing guys or the kickboxing guys. I think it'll be interesting to see if there's any big difference there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. And
we met the guy on the last day of Kangeko.
Yeah, we did.
He didn't train though, did he? He just came along for the party.
Yeah. Only Scott's friends can do that, yeah? So we finished, we got through it with no certificate.
Yeah, man. And it's fair enough, because to be honest, if I didn't have to be there every day, I would not have done the full thing.
Not at all.
That was hard. One of the longest weeks of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's always good once you've finished, because you feel like you've achieved something.
Wish I had a certificate to show it. No.
But yeah, Kangeko. How describe the week for you, man?
Okay,
how'd
it
you
was
find
long. The early mornings were painful. What else can I say? What else were the downsides? See if I can do like a best and worst. Worst was the early mornings, the lack of sleep. Trying to get my naps in the middle of the day before my classes. But the best was, I think there is a real feeling of accomplishment with having done the whole thing. I know I'm talking about a certain that I didn't get one, but I loved it. All the different classes, like John's class was great, Scott's class was obviously great. Everybody brought something different to the table, and all the different classes we did were really good. I got to teach at Kangeko, my second time ever teaching adults here in the dojo, and I found that really fun. I was nervous as hell, but I got through it. Some people said they liked it, so I suppose it went okay. And
I liked it.
Thanks, man. And what else? Obviously, the last day was fantastic. The sense of community in the dojo, and our Swedish friends that really integrated themselves really well. Not to forget the Danes. We had 2 Danes over. Those guys were cool too. They were friendly.
Yeah, like that's probably the best thing about it is having people travel to come and train with us.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime we have new people in the dojo, it's always good fun, I find it like it personally motivates me to stay on top of the game in terms of like teaching if they're coming to train in one of my classes, or in terms of just training. Like anytime you got new people, you got to go, like, again, that ego of mine goes, you got to show them how good you are.
We had a lot of people in the morning in the instructors training after Kangeko this week, week gone by.
And you got just, and it's an extra little motivator. Like, I was trying to, we had done a Facebook Live, and I was trying to say something where everyone was already laughing at me and cutting me off and making it sound like I was going to say something bad. And I was laughing so much I couldn't actually get out what I was trying to say.
You were trying to let on that we don't normally train hard.
That's not what I was going to do. Okay. That's what everyone. So, folks, just in case you haven't seen, conclusion.
Just in case you haven't seen the Facebook Live that we did on the last day of Kangeko, Ross was doing his best and worst, and he said the best was having extra people in instructors training, by which he means our Scandinavian visitors, because it motivated us to train harder than we normally do. And we were saying, stop saying that, you're going to let on that we don't normally train that hard.
Like before it, like nobody let me finish. They immediately were going, don't say it, no, don't do it.
Well, like, clarify, for the record,
what I was trying
to
say was that when we have guests in the morning, it's always an extra motivator to make us train that little bit harder. We always train hard. But when we have someone else in the dojo, you have that little extra motivation to just push a little bit harder than you normally would. That's all it is. Like,
I get it.
We train hard. It's just that little tiny bit harder when we've got someone in there. Yeah. Because you want to, prove that you're fitter, faster, stronger. You want to prove to yourself that you're faster than anyone else that comes into the dojo.
It's not just for us as well. You could say it's for them. Like, they came to experience our dojo, so we're going to put on a show, right?
And I mean, like, we're not doing any special new training. Like, it's the training we do every week. But instead of doing 30 reps, you end up doing 32. Instead of doing 30 Maigeris, you do 32 Maigeris in 20 seconds or whatever,
Yeah.
That little extra
Ross Sensei
push.
is talking about Tabata training, where 30 seconds on, 10 seconds off. And if you, we tend to count our own personal reps for every round. And if you can get in 32 Maigeris in 20 seconds, that's pretty good. That's fast.
That's fast,
yeah. Yeah, that'd be going full pelt on the first round.
That's what I always do, man. And that's what I'm saying. We never learn because nobody else kicks as fast. Nobody else is moving as fast. And you're like, oh God, why am I doing this to myself?
Why are we doing this? Yeah.
But that was what I was trying to say before everyone was like, getting into trouble. But yeah, Kangeko was great. The downside for me, again, is eventually you're seeing the same people 3 times a day. Like at some points, man, you're like, fucking Yanni, give me a break from. And it's not the guests, it's the people that you see every day. Like I'm in the dojo every day. I see these people every day, like, and seeing them an extra 3 hours a day.
Yes,
it's quite, it can be quite taxing, like, and the reason you're seeing them though is because of their support of the dojo, the love of the dojo, the love of karate. So you forgive it quite quickly, but sometimes, just when you're tired, it's first thing in the morning, and someone comes up and says something to you, you're just like, fuck off.
Are you an introvert, Ross?
I think, like, believe it or not, yes, I am.
Yeah. You wouldn't think
you
that.
wouldn't let on because I'm a
No,
big,
no.
loud egomaniac. I'm a mystery, Roo.
Yeah, not exactly a topic for a karate podcast, but I think I'm an introvert too, and other people don't think so.
Yeah, but gig was fun. I enjoyed teaching everyone. I actually got invited to teach in Sweden out of it, which was very nice. I'm
Nice.
looking forward to doing that. I'm going to do that in August. So that'll be cool. So
You got a few gigs lined up now.
I do, man. I just confirmed the dates for Macedonia yesterday. Looking forward to that.
So
I got
cool.
the guy.
Sure, you
was
don't
saying to
need
me,
an uke to go with you.
You can if you're covering my classes.
Aww.
If only. But yeah, like I got a guy was sending me a few videos of the area that I'm going to be staying in. It is stunning, man. Macedonia looks amazing. I'm really looking forward to that.
That's this summer, right?
Yeah. I've just got dates and everything booked up to go to Denmark. I'm going to teach in Denmark in March next month.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Cool.
I'm going to teach there, which will be great. I'm really looking forward to that.
And of course, are you going to the same club that's hosting us for the summer camp?
That is the same one, absolutely.
Summer camp.
So now this is going to be the third time HDKI is going to have a summer camp. That's now become an annual summer camp in Odder in Denmark. I got to go last year. It was amazing. I mean, if you get a chance to have a look, there's some pictures and stuff on Facebook, I'm sure, on the HDKI website, but the grounds, the most impressive thing for me was the location. I mean, it's a college campus. The apartments are spotless. The canteen and stuff spotless. The sports hall is too clean. It was so clean that, like, you know, that way where the floor was so clean, there was no, like, you know how you get that dust, that sort of that little,
The lint on your feet. Yeah.
And it just helps you, you know, when you want to, like, that first move in Hyanyon, then when you're sliding out and stuff. There's none of that. So you could hear everyone's feet sticking in. By like the second day, everyone had their feet taped up because their feet taped up to high heaven because their skin had just been ripped off. Man.
Ooh, that's not good.
So it's too clean. The floor was too clean. But I mean, that's a good complaint to have, really.
Guess so.
But the college campus, the rooms, the accommodation, literally, like, and I'm not even joking, like, literally a 2-minute walk from the beach.
Imagine going to college there.
Warm water, nice beaches, nice white sand. It was lovely. Every morning we got up, we got to do some nice kata on the beach as the sun's rising. In the water we go for the last bit, you know, just to test your focus, you know. And it was great fun. The hosts are great. Those guys over in Denmark are lovely people. The food was fantastic. I think we paid like a one-off fee for the accommodation and the course, and it was all inclusive, you know.
Well, this year it's all inclusive for the 2019 summer camp. The course, accommodation, and 3 square meals are all included in the price, which I think is €195 for HDKI members.
Really, man, if you try,
not bad for 4 days.
If you try and eat 3 times a day in Dublin, 4 times, like for 4 days, I mean, that's easily fucking breaking the bank, you know.
Yeah,
it's way more than 190.
Yeah,
Never mind training with some excellence.
Yeah, and this year we've got Rick Houghton,
Simon
Bly, and Sokoto Langley.
Scott Sensei. So yeah, it's going to be great fun. I got to teach that course last year, so I've taught these guys before. They're a great bunch, really high level, and everyone over there, like, we all enjoyed it and stuff. Our mates Donal and AJ got to go grade over there. That was really cool. Just to help them along with it, I had to do committee with them, so it was nice to be a part of that. We were sort of building up nicely to the camp. We managed to get over there, train hard, party harder. It was great, man. It was good, really nice. So I'm looking forward to going teaching there in March, and I'm looking forward to that camp this summer.
I don't know now. Nobody said anything, but I think I'm going to be allowed to go this year too.
Yeah, I think we're going to shut the dojo for the weekend.
Yes.
Yeah, shut the dojo.
I'd love to go because
Pack the Nogi's karate adventure.
I don't know if we're allowed to say this now, but we're going to say it anyway.
You're going to say it? You're going to break some news?
There's going to be well, I don't know if it's my. It's certainly not my news to break. It's just I have a feeling there's going to be some gradings at this course this year.
Yeah, I've heard a rumor.
Yeah,
I heard a rumor that
I think I know the guy's grading.
I heard a rumor that there might be someone going for a wee Nidan. At some point. Maybe I don't know if it's going to be at the camp, but I know this year there's a wee Nidan on the horizon for someone.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
He's talking about me, folks.
So Rue might be on. He might be on the road to Nidan.
The road to Nidan. Sorry, I've only finished more than half this beer. But anyway.
So how is the road to Nidan going, Rue?
Oh, what can I say? It's hard to know. It's I don't know where on the road I am because I feel like there's so much that needs improving. I feel a little bit overwhelmed sometimes when I think about it. So I try not to think about it.
Yeah.
I'm just generally trying to improve all the time, trying to put in the hours training, except when other stuff gets in the way, but I'll get back to that. That's part of my fails of the week, which we'll get to later. So yeah, when stuff interferes with my training, it gets a bit frustrating. So I think I'm nervous. I think it's frustrating me when I feel like I'm not on the right path. So yeah, trying to stay focused and trying to stay committed to improving is really what I need right now. Focusing on any particular points. I know I mentioned on a previous, when we were interviewing Andrea Sensei, I don't know if you folks will have heard that yet or not, but I mentioned that I was working on my Mawashi Geri, but my Mawashi Geri is still pretty shite. So yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, folks.
So yeah, maybe I need to hone in on some stuff. Well, I definitely do, but well, you could. Well, I've chosen my kata, right? Well, my kata was chosen for me. I'm doing MP. So every now and then, if I've got some time to myself during morning training, say if we're having a loosey goosey do whatever you please morning session, I'll just be doing MP with a weight vest on, or I'll get the tubes and I'll practice switching those shutos in that section in MP or stuff like that. So I know what to focus on kata wise. I know what to focus on kumite wise because it's going to be freestyle. That's why I'm enjoying doing the stuff with the gloves and the pads on. I think that's going to benefit me. Yeah, that's all I've got to say about that for now. I need to wait until I'm told what to focus on. I think.
Nidan's it's got a set syllabus to it, yeah.
Yeah.
We've got a set syllabus to it, but I mean we've practiced that a few times before, and you're trying to hone your technique every class. So I think it's just make sure you peak at the right time. Don't overtrain. Leading up to it, I think that's something that I've done in the past is overtrain for things, competitions, gradings. I think sometimes you get so fixated on something that you don't realise how hard you're pushing yourself. And I think that right now is the time to really train hard because, I mean, if it's at the summer, if it's at Christmas, now's the time to train hard so that you can sort of peak at the right time. Just you can take your foot off the gas a little bit. Your body recovers, you feel nice and strong, but you've still got all the benefits of the hard training that you've done. So like if you're doing it MP with fucking weight vests on, tubes for certain parts of the kata, if you're training every evening sparring with us and stuff every morning, I think this is the right time to do it. Really push it hard for the next few months.
Us.
And then
sounds good.
Come after, but I think
I think you're right. I heard recently that if you're training for an upcoming event like a grading or a competition, you do max volume far away from the event, and then when you're close to the event, you do less volume but higher intensity.
Yeah.
So taking a few days off here and there, and
I think because I mean because if you're doing training if you're training every day and you're training 100% every day, I mean you're only training for what at the most 45 minutes of work. It's a 45 and that's with other people doing their katas, other grades going up. It's just a set syllabus of Kihon, maybe what 5 minutes of kumite and then 2 katas. I mean it's not a lot.
I forgot there was going to be another kata.
Do you know all the
I know
the katas?
No, I only have to know the 4. Basadai, Kankudai,
I know your
NP, and
Heians.
Gion.
Yeah, make sure you get your Heians.
They're not going to ask me for a Heian, are they?
I think the last 2 Nidan gradings I've watched, they asked them for Heian.
Oh, okay. Well, I know them anyway.
Cool. But yeah,
I think teach kids.
And I think MP's a good one for you. I mean, how much do you weigh?
63.5 kilos.
Jeez, 62.5 kilos.
I know, maybe I haven't weighed myself in ages.
Yeah. So but I think that's one where there's a lot of changing of height, changing of direction. I think that's a good one for someone as light as you.
Yeah.
You'll fly like the swallow.
Like the swallow in the swallow that Funakoshi told of. Okay, let's switch the focus over to you and the road to Yondan. There have been whispers
Well,
in the hallways of the dojo?
It's that where I am. Definitely I am eligible to grade for it, but I'm not going to grade for it until I'm told. I've never been motivated by grades ever. Like I think the last I was motivated for my Shodan. I got my Shodan. I remember training ridiculously hard for my Nidan grade, and I trained so hard for it. And I remember on the day, it was before I had met Scott. It was before the karate world had really been exposed. I was a very good competitor, very good at competition karate. I trained very hard. I was very fast, very strong, and I did give it the best that I could. But I remember people who passed that day. Like I think everyone passed. I don't think anyone failed. And I remember going, I trained so hard for this, and they've just given it to everyone. Like they've just given it away to people who were forgetting katas, to people who were messing up their lefts and rights, messing up their kihons and things like that, not doing the right techniques. And I was just like, you might not be technically the best, but at least know your stuff. Like if you're making mistakes in your chosen kata, I think you should fail straight. Like in my opinion, like, and that's not the case. Everyone has a different story. There's a different standard for everyone depending on their circumstances. There's so much more to take into account, which I've learned recently, is that not everyone is training as hard as a full-time instructor. Not everyone is training as regularly, and not everyone's physically able the same way that some people are. So the standards there's always a personal side to gradings, I think. But I think if you make a mistake in the kata that you've chosen, I mean, that's a fail.
Yeah, that sounds upsetting to me. I guess
yeah.
At the end of the day, I suppose this is a bit of a cliche, but you got to know your own level. So you were given your Nidan on the same day that a lot of people who you think shouldn't have passed,
Yeah.
but you know yourself, you earned it.
Yeah, but I mean, I also thought that like this didn't feel. It took away that all that hard work and stuff. Felt like I pushed myself really hard, which I was proud of, but I also felt like I could have got this without having to, which upset me a lot. Not the fact that I was proud of myself for training hard, but I was upset at the fact that didn't make a difference.
Well, it made a difference in your karate. If you're training hard, you're improving.
I mean that's a very positive outlook, but it was a dampener. Like, I was happy because I was happy with myself, and I did feel like I deserved it and all that. But at the same time, I was like, it was such a letdown just to I don't know. I think it was in a selfish way to not be acknowledged for that extra effort, I think maybe to a certain degree. And I think that I remember then I was watching a grading happen with a very senior Japanese instructor grading people for their Yondans and their Godans. And I remember one of the guys going for Godan forgot Gion twice and still passed. And I remember looking at, and I was only a boy at this time, but I remember looking going, wow, that's so-and-so sensei. I'm not going to say the name, but I was like, that's. I thought he was like considered the man,
Yeah.
I remember and he passed him, and I was like, this is just about money. None of this matters, and that was my attitude towards. So I didn't grade after I got my Nidan. I didn't grade for what at the time felt like forever, until I moved over here and I graded with the WTKO in 2014, 2015.
That's not right. Yeah, no, because it's 2019 now.
Yeah.
Yep.
2015. With Richard Sensei, Steve Uble Sensei, Scott Sensei, and Scott Middleton Sensei.
Nice.
John Mullen Sensei. I think they were all on the panel, so that was a very high level panel.
That's a nice panel.
And people were failing. I remember, because I felt leading up to it, I didn't feel too bad because I thought I'm training with Scott Sensei every day. Technically, I'm not doing anything that's completely wrong. Unless I mess up on the day, I should be all right because I'm training really hard every day, and I was confident in my own abilities and my technical ability. And I remember busted my ass before it, busted my ass on the day, fought really well. Katas went okay, considering that, Kumite's really my thing. I thought the katas were all right. McKeown, I think, was okay. But I remember people going through the Shonan Nidans, people were failing, and I was like, oh my god, people, like, they're ruthless,
Yeah, they're on the warpath.
And I remember I remember Richard Amos says he was listing all the things that needed to be improved, and I thought, oh my god, I failed. I remember thinking, like, I've not got it. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. That was a wake-up call. But then he said, but other than that big, massive list of things, you're on the right track. So, yeah, Sandan Pat. And I was thinking, oh, my God, thank you. And back
in the day, I read this in... What's the name of that guy who wrote Zen in Movement, or Movement in... What's the name of that book? Moving Zen. There we go. He said that they used to, like, hundreds of them would go to a black belt grading, and they all had to sit in seiza for hours while one by one they got up to do their thing. Or maybe not one by one, but anyway, sitting down for 8. And then the grading was finished, and they wouldn't tell you. You definitely didn't get told on the day if you passed or not.
Yeah.
And for Steve Nichols, what's his name? The guy that wrote something Nichols. For the guy that wrote the book, it was like next week someone just came up to him and goes, oh, by the way, congratulations. And he goes, what? You passed that day when you graded for black belt. It was like, oh, well, thanks for mentioning it.
I don't know if I can handle waiting to find, like, I struggle with waiting for an Amazon order, never mind a grade, But I was never motivated by grades, so now when I'm eligible for the Yondan, I'm going to wait until it's, okay, you're grading on this date. I'll wait till I'm told. I'm not going to ask to be graded. I'm not going to ask because I'm due it. It'll be when Sensei decides it's earned,
I see.
And
what...
But in terms of but I have to be ready just in case, right?
Yeah.
So,
it could be sprung upon you.
So the rumours are going to... So there has been whispers, so I have been training for it. There's a guy that we have, an excellent fighter, Christophe, who is the former Cameroon team captain. And man, to watch him move when he fights, he's one of the best fighters I've ever seen. Even out of all the sport karate guys I've seen, he has a combination of that sort of fluid sports karate movement and speed with the power of, those old school guys, Yahara and all these guys back in the day. I mean, he is ferocious. Me and him are starting as of next week, starting sparring once a week, just each other, just going to meet up, lock the doors and just beat up each other for a good bit.
He's a good guy to have in the dojo. Yeah, we've got some real gems in this dojo. Guys that come along with a unique kind of set of talents or speciality. Yeah, Christophe is one of those guys.
Yeah, so Christophe, I'm going to spar with Christophe once a week, hopefully once a week, and I'm sure that no matter who gets put up in front of me when the time comes to grade, I'm sure they won't be as scary as Christophe, so I think I'll be fine. And we've got the wonderful Tommy Sensei in the dojo all the time, kata extraordinaire, so I'm going to him to ask him to watch my kata all the time. And I go through ideas of application and stuff, and I walk through, starting to walk through all the, like, a lot of the more obscure katas that we don't really practice that often, just in case you get asked something out of the ordinary. So yeah, I always train hard, but I'm starting to be a little bit more specific, a little bit more direction to the training.
Kind of the opposite of me, where I just need to focus on generally improving.
It's a little bit more tailored to that specific goal in mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think when it comes down to it, at this level, when it gets to past Sandan level, when it goes to Yondan, Godan, or above, I think you are that grade already when the time comes to grade for it. I think that you don't get told to go for it, you don't go for it unless you're already there. So I think when the time comes, that's the action that I'm going to, they're just asking me to show my karate, and I'll show my karate, and I'll justify my karate, and hopefully that will be deemed.
You don't want to be a chancer. No. You don't want to go, ooh, maybe I could pass a Yondan grading.
No. And it's that way where, like, Yondan's the first one where there's no Kihon, and the reason that there's no Kihon is because you should start to develop your own style, your own ideas.
That's the idea.
Start to dip into should the
The re
start
of
to
the
dip of
shuhari.
shuhari, you know.
Yeah.
So that's I think if it does happen this year, I'm starting to tailor my training towards that a little bit. You know?
Exciting times. It's going to be an exciting year.
Yep.
We've got whispers of gradings coming up, and man, do we for 2019? I think is going to be a nice year for this dojo, for HDKI, and certainly in Ireland.
Our karate brains are going to be fried,
Because
man.
we have so many good sensei coming to visit us this year.
Ridiculous.
We got a list right here.
We got a list of senseis. We this isn't even all of them. We just jotted down.
Yeah.
So, we always have Rick Houghton sensei over once a year.
He's a mainstay.
Who's the hippie sort of mind blower when it comes to karate.
I doubt there's anybody listening who isn't familiar with Rick Houghton.
Yeah,
One of the most famous karate guys out there at the moment, right?
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
and so he comes every year, and it's always good fun. Last year he done, he done his usual what he works on in terms of his own training of karate, which is very unique to him. His kind of ripple, I think it's like a ripple effect he does. He always has those sound effects that he uses, and he uses it to describe the feeling of how his body's moving when he's hitting something, when he's moving, when he's defending, when he's attacking, which is always good fun. And he done a bit of his Aikido, which is always a nice sort of, like what we were talking about earlier, a nice little bit of cross training that we get to do. Cheers, man. But he done, for the first time ever for us.
First time, and it was fantastic.
He done Sochin, which is myself and Tommy says his favourite kata, and I mean, Scott says Sochin is fantastic, but Rick Houghton done it, and he wasn't saying anything that contradicted Scott Sensei, nothing that Scott Sensei hasn't already said, but it's just the way he got you to feel the kata was his own unique Rickness. And it was
off the Richter scale.
It was ridiculous. It was fantastic. Like, it was something that was definitely unique. It was definitely the same kata that I've practiced time and time again, done in a completely different way. It was fantastic.
But done not differently, just taught differently, right?
It was completely different in the sense that it's the exact same thing with a completely unique perspective on it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It was really, really insightful. Still try and capture a little bit of it every time I do it. It was great, you know? So we've got Rick Houghton. He's here in September, I think.
And let's try and get him to teach kata again when he comes over.
I mean,
Could you imagine Rick doing a bit of Goju Shihosho?
I mean,
That'd be sweet.
that'd be so... that'd be deadly. Yeah, I'd love it.
Who else have we got coming this year? JD Swanson for the first time.
Swanson, yeah. I mean, I met JD. I was over teaching in America. I done a little teaching tour, and it was when I was in where was I? Pittsburgh. I was in Pittsburgh, and with Riva. Shout out to Riva Sensei. Love Riva, very lovely lady. But she is a JD fanatic, and I can understand why, just on a personality point of view, because he is lovely.
He's a nice chap.
Lovely guy.
Good.
I arrived at Riva's house. I was staying at Riva's place the night and teaching the next morning. JD was already there, and he had a beer in hand waiting for me coming through the door, and I was like, you know what? You're a good guy.
How to get on Ross's good side. Have beer ready. Well, he's written this book. Is it called The Science of Karate, or Karate Science, or Karate Science?
Karate Science, yeah.
Yeah, and that
Principles of Movement, I think.
The illustrations look really nice in it. I've only thumbed
we've got a
through
copy
it.
in the library. There.
We do, yeah. It's in. I think it's in the boss's office.
Ooh, see, secret library.
Yeah, see, the forbidden section for you Harry Potter fans out there.
But yeah, so he is he teaches the colleges. He teaches the collegiate karate in DC. I think he teaches in DC, and he is a very interesting style. I think he's very much taken under been taken under by Steve Ubo Sensei. He's trained with him a lot.
There's worse people to learn from.
Very true. So I think his karate is very, from what I've seen, very application based, very practical. It is very pure in its execution, and I'm looking forward to. I never got to actually train with them or get taught by him when I was over there, because I was doing all the teaching. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to having him over. Just if anything, just to see him again, because he is a lovely guy.
And from Canada, coming to our spring course, which occurs at the end of March this year, is Guy Brodeur.
Guy Brodeur Sensei.
Yeah.
Again, very, very lovely man. A little bit more intimidating than JD, I have to say so myself.
But he's another Ubelite.
He's another one from the Ubel.
The Ubel school.
Yeah,
Ubel
the school
Ryu.
of Ubel. He's also been influenced a great deal by Steve Sensei, and it shows as well. Unlike JD, I got to train under Guy when he was over here in the dojo, and he's excellent.
He's a strong man.
He has an excellent blend of that sort of competition style and that very traditional, pure form, pure practical karate style. Like he can do all the fancy kicks, he can do all the fancy, very athletic techniques and moves, and he can also kill you with his pinky finger.
Yeah, he can do some brutal stuff too.
He is fantastic. So if you're in town, guys, please come and train with him. And we've got him over in March.
The 30th and the 31st. It's the last weekend in March.
Yeah, so we have a big grading on in March, and he's going to be there teaching for that. I'm really looking forward to that. He done an excellent class just on how to. It was a great one. Just my favourite class, how to hit people really hard. That's my favourite type of training.
That's the kind of stuff we need to do.
Just this is how you hit someone really hard. So we've got Guy here. Guy's fantastic.
So that's JD Swanson, Guy Brodeur, Rick Jackson is visiting us this year.
We've had Rick Jackson over a few times now. He actually became a member of the HTKI, which is really cool.
Now, yeah.
That was really cool.
Rick
Awesome
Jackson,
having someone like that.
HTKI.
Very awesome. But Rick Jackson, I mean, he's just a wealth of knowledge. You know, he's just like his karate classes always seem to be the most tiring, not because of what you're doing physically, but you're mentally, like always like a race car that's always on that red line, you know, that point where the edge is just about to blow up. Like I think that's what he always has you on that red line. You're always like ready to kill someone at any second in his classes. He gets you into this mindset of kill or be killed, fucking samurai mode, and you're trying to maintain the principles of what he's talking about as he's doing it, but a lot of his stuff is mental training, you know, and that is very unique to him, I think, and it's very interesting.
I've heard people say similar things about training with the I've heard people say just that about Anoida, the late Anoida, that it's just impossible to slack off when he's standing up there at the top.
Yeah,
you just
it's
say what you like about Anoida, you know, technically speaking, but nobody slacks off when Anoida's up there, right?
I think the same can be said with Rick Jackson. I think I like me the best of I like to train very hard, but I also like to have fun when I train. So you know, any chance to make someone crack a smile, I do. You know, I'm very light-hearted in the dojo most of the time.
Yeah,
not in Rick Jackson's class.
No messing about, right?
No.
Samurai mode.
Never. When I say make people laugh, I mean while still training very hard.
Yeah,
you know?
sure.
I'm still executing everything to the best of my ability. But no, I'll never crack a smile in a Rick Jackson class.
Right.
Ever.
Wow. I can't wait. I've never met that guy. I've met Guy Brodeur, never met Rick Jackson, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
We've talked about Rick Hutton already. He's coming over to visit us. And for the first time, we're going to have... What's his first name? Does he have a first name?
Morad.
I think Morad is his surname.
Morad Sensei.
Sensei.
I cannot recall his first name at the moment. I am.
He's a guy we've been following online for a while.
I'm his Facebook friend. I can't.
Go on, look him up. But he's a guy we've been following on Instagram and YouTube, and he is the head of KWF Algeria. KWF being Yahara Sensei's international organization.
Morad.
And his style is... Morad's his first name, and his second name is Sehia, or something like that. Saihia.
Sahia.
So
terrible pronunciation, but Morad
apologies,
Sensei.
Morad.
Morad Sensei. Oh, we're gonna get spinning urakens.
Yeah. So he does a really nice, a really nice sort of iteration of Yahara style karate.
I mean, he's physically. I think out of all the guys we've got, you know, I think he does he executes karate in the most physically impressive way in terms of just watching him. You just look at everything Morad does. Like, his kicks are unbelievable. His ferocity when he demonstrates is excellent. And not also is it like it's great to watch, but you technically can't fault it. You know, like I
Yeah.
was watching and comparing, like, you know, the stuff that Scott Sensei tells us to watch for, like, breaking center lines and all these sort of stuff. It's like you always look at the top guys and see, let's see if we can spot anything, because, you know, everyone fault. I've never seen them fault anywhere. He is fantastic, and
He's
I'm
technically
really,
pretty excellent.
that's the one. If I'm with maybe so bold to say, I am really looking forward to that.
Oh, yeah?
Because I've trained with all these guys, everyone that's coming before. I've never trained with Morad Sensei, so I'm a bit of a Morad fanboy. I have to say, I love all these videos. I watch them time and time again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
great.
can't wait to.
Yeah, it's going to be really good fun. And the last that we have, the fight, to round off the year, we have the legend Kawawada Sensei,
Yes.
all the way from Japan, coming to us in the Christmas time for our Christmas courses. Trained with
Well in advance.
well in advance, yeah. I got to train with him in Japan at the Hoitscan this last October. It was fantastic. Just to be in the Hoitscan itself. I mean, there's so much history. That's like the mecca of karate, I think. And we got to go there, which was deadly. We got to train with him, which was excellent. He was very. He had a lot of nice drills. We went through a lot of kata with him. He got us to talk about inner thigh muscle squeeze, and it was nice to be sort of told by someone like him that we're on the right track, which is what he says. You know, it was very nice.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to training with him again. He's a very lovely man, and obviously a karate legend.
So let me read off his blurb. We've got some literature here in the dojo advertising our Christmas course, which, folks, takes place on the 4th and 5th of December 2019. Kawawade Sensei is a product of the golden age of the JKA. A graduate of Takusoku University and the Kenshusei program, he went on to develop into a formidable competitor, becoming grand champion at both the JKA All Japan and the JKA World Championships. After many years teaching and working at the JKA headquarters, he now dedicates his time to teaching at Nakayama Sensei's personal dojo, the famous Hoitsugan. Kawawada Sensei has a generous and humorous teaching style, and HDKI are honoured to host him in Ireland for the first time. His first time in Ireland. Nice. He's
Yeah.
going to love it.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's going to be a cool one. So, yeah, for all you Japanophiles out there, don't miss that one. Yeah,
Yeah, no, he's a legend. And look, folks, 2 days, €35. How do you like that?
That's cheaper than a
That's
burger over here.
That's a cheap Christmas course, folks.
So yeah, come along to that.
Yeah, of course it's open, regardless of affiliation, as all our stuff is. All love.
Is Scott says he's going to pay us extra for all this advertising that we're doing.
Well, we can't be the HDKI Hombu Dojo podcast sponsored by HDKI. We can't sponsor ourselves.
That's true. All that shameless plugging. I feel dirty.
Hey, a sponsor would be nice though. We
A
should
sponsor,
get
yeah.
in touch with Hirota or
Yeah, come and listen to we'll sell your stuff to our 2 subscribers.
Hajime One, maybe some of those people. out
Hajime,
there.
yeah,
or maybe the
Stu,
Shotokan
I just done a
Karate
wee
magazine.
article for Stu. It's up now on the Hajime page. Check it out.
Let's not plug too many people now before they've paid.
Hajime.
Yeah, but no,
Okay.
folks do look up Hajime One because Ross Sensei just wrote a nice little piece for them, and I thought it was very eloquent and nicely put.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's about time to come to that my favourite segment, which is the fails
of the week.
Fails of the week.
Mm-hmm.
I had a fail yesterday.
Tell me.
It's a pretty embarrassing one, and I apologise to Scott Sensei. But I left the house to come to teach my 4:00 class, and I reached the top of the lane and realised that I had left the house without my dojo keys. The dojo was locked up. I had to run back to the house and run back, and by the time I got here, everyone had arrived at 5 to 4 for the class.
Waiting
So,
outside the dojo.
yeah, and my 4:00 class is quite busy.
Ooh.
So to come round the corner with parents holding on to their kids in the cold, I was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Tail
And
between your legs.
the kids have no filter. They're just like, Ross Sensei, why are you so late? Why are you such a failure? Why are you so bad? You're such a bad person. I'm so cold. I'm like, oh my god, guys, I'm so sorry. But Yeah, that was always, it's always embarrassing because all the parents are just like, the parents are lovely. They're always just like, don't worry about it. Forgot your keys, been there, blah 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 blah. But you still feel terrible. It's such shame.
You're supposed to be a professional, Russ.
Yeah.
Fail.
What's your fail, Ruth?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so it was Tuesday. No, my fail comes in two parts.
Tuesday.
It was Tuesday. I was teaching my classes. My 5 o'clock class here in the dojo. My 5 o'clock class was just kicking off, and a beautiful woman walked in the door. And her English was a bit broken, and she explained to me that she'd come to train some karate. And I said, well, I'm teaching kids right now. The adult class is at 7 o'clock. You can come back later. Ross Sensei is teaching at 7 o'clock. And she says, no, I just wanted to come and say hello. And I was like, oh, hi. So, she wanted to chat a little bit, and I explained, I told her when all the adult classes was on. She told me she'd done experience in karate. Anyway, chatting away, and it was my mixed juniors class, so I have a whole bunch of yellow, green and purple belts on the dojo, all lined up waiting for me, and I just wanted to lean against the counter talking to this pretty woman for a while, because she was something else.
She was pretty.
She was very pretty. And eventually I had to go teach, and she said she'd come by for training, and then Thursday night came around, and I had to skip training.
Why?
Because I'm in rehearsals for a play. I'm musical director for a musical, obviously. No, I mean for a musical piece of theatre. And so I was at these rehearsals, and that was the day that the beautiful Japanese woman decided to show up for training. And I missed it. I missed my opportunity.
You missed your opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a shame. Yeah.
So
I was at training.
You saw her, yeah, so you know what I'm talking about.
I got to meet her.
Yeah.
She was nice.
Big fail.
Hey, buddy.
Because I was really excited.
Her name, she's very, very nice. She's Sandan.
She's Sandan?
Sandan,
Was she any good?
She was, for someone who hasn't done it in a few years, she was very good.
Really?
Yeah,
nice and sharp?
Good kick on her. She kicked me quite hard in the stomach. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, good.
So
yeah,
I feel quite upset about that.
That was quite a fail. People don't appreciate that. Trust me, guys. That was a fail.
Yeah, because I had all kinds of ambitions,
Ambitions of just making friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
But she did tell me she's only here for 3 weeks, so, maybe she'll never come back.
Oh, stop. That's my fail of the week.
Yeah, fail of the week. So, guys, as always, if you have any questions, anything you want us to cover, we're going to start answering karate questions next week.
Yes.
So get questions in, anything you want to ask us, anything you want us to look up, research, and just anything in general. It could be about Rue's personal life, his hair. could be about
you don't want to know
what
folks.
life is like in Roscommon.
Oh God.
It could be like his South African heritage. It could be anything, or it could be karate related or any sort of martial art. We will talk about literally anything.
Or just send us in your own opinions, and maybe we'd like to contradict
you. We'll tell you how wrong you are. Yeah,
or we can support you.
Anything
heartily.
you want us to chat about, anything you want our opinions of, send them in. We will try and answer just about everyone at one point or another.
Let us plug your karate courses.
Yeah,
and competitions and events.
And your dojos. If you send us a question, we will plug your dojo, your locations, all these things. And who knows, it might reach someone near you.
This platform is your platform.
On that note, guys, deep bows and deep poses is